Hello, it's David from David's Over Electrical, and the fact I'm in a broom cupboard in a free Alex t-shirt indicates one thing, and that's that I'm working on a Saturday and all my branded workwear is in the wash. So I'm out here. I don't normally like to work Saturdays, but I have here a nuisance trip issue which might actuate while I'm talking, so listen out for any clicks. It's quite an interesting one, this. Now, I don't normally film stuff on site because normally there's not much time to do so, but well, it's a Saturday afternoon, so we've got a bit of leeway. So sorry about the shaky footage. It is being filmed on a mobile phone. And let's start with a rant. You know I like to have a rant, so let's go for one of those first of all. Okay, my rant is about this awful state of this board. I mean, look at this, what a load of shit. What kind of quality of workmanship is this? It's crap, isn't it? It looks awful. It is awful, and interestingly enough, I've covered over the sticker, but whoever did this, or the person who did this, they were proud enough to put a sticker on the board to say who they were, and they did it in 2015 apparently, with a retest date of 2020. So they put 5 years on the thing. They've also stuck on here their contact details and that sticker at the bottom, which again I've covered up. So, you know, they obviously think, well, they've done a pretty decent job. And this is a NAPIT accredited company, and my God, why do I keep having to moan about NAPIT accredited companies? They just seem to be rubber stamping anybody in my area as legitimate competition, and how can they with standards like this? I mean, just look at it. And for a start, the labelling. There's something as basic as labelling. We've got circuit 1. Can you see that? First floor lighting. First floor lighting. That's a 32 amp ring circuit. It's sockets. What else we got on here? You know, I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Is that a garden sprinkler? What the hell is that? I'm not familiar with what that's supposed to represent at all. It's a 16 amp circuit on the board, but well, I don't know what it is. I haven't done any ICR here. Apparently these guys did, and they've got a sticker on there saying that they've done an inspection on the place. So I don't know what that symbol's supposed to represent. Miss a couple out. At the end here we've got 2 blanks, look, nothing at all. Well, it looks to me like there's 3 lighting circuits there, 2 wedged into that end breaker, and this one here, all singles, horrible things. Cooker, it says cooker there, look, next to the lights. Does that look a cooker to you? That looks like a 6 amp lighting circuit to me. If you can't get the labelling right, then, you know, it's pretty shocking really, isn't it? NAPIT accredited, folks, so yeah, do watch your step. Anyway, this is an interesting fault. This is the reason why I'm doing the filming today. And actually, look at that. Fucking hell, look at the copper on show there. That's the line terminal coming out there and not going through any kind of grommet into the main switch. What a shit job. I'm going to have to fix that now, aren't I? Look, they've obviously cut the seal to the meter to put that in, and they didn't even trim it to length. NAPIT accredited, people. NAPIT accredited. That's all I've got to say about that. But look at my fault current to earth. Here's what I'm here for. I've got 21.1 milliamps, and nothing's on. Only that RCD is on. This is the RCD that keeps tripping. In fact, that button's not working at all now. Look, I think it's tripped 1 time too many, so now that freaking thing's going to have to be replaced. But we got no fault current until I turn on just that RCD, and then it jumps up. And it's obviously pissing around the thing's threshold. I've seen it around the 20 plus mark. Sometimes it stays on for a few minutes, sometimes you can't get it back on at all, so it's obviously floating around the threshold of the RCD. And does this one trip off? Yeah, that one trips off okay from the test button, but this one's obviously had its day, so yeah, great, I've got to stick a new RCD in. That's true with RCDs, they trip too many times, and sometimes they just don't want to wake up again. So what the hell's causing this? And it's had me on a run around for a while trying to find where this fault current's coming from. And then I, after scratching my head for a while, I came across something interesting, which was a cable clipped up the wall here. I thought, hang on a sec. If there's one place that's going to have a big fat prescribed zone, it's going to be behind the consumer unit. So I've done a continuity test, and I can confirm the metal nails have continuity to the neutral bar on this RCD. And if I start pulling these things out, they're not in very well in the first place. There goes one, he says. Oh, and that's immediately after taking that first one out, our fault current's dropped down to 0. So that nail has hit something in the wall there. I think I have to open up the wall and find out what. And it's interesting, I'm talking about the standard of this thing. The guy's phone number, as I say, is covered over. It's on a sticker at the bottom there. homeowner hasn't called him back to have a look at this thing. It's me who's been called out to it. So you know, if the homeowner knows that the stickers don't match up to the circuit, so obviously they've completely lost confidence in what this guy's done, and they're not calling him back, they're calling me. So that's what happens if you do a shit job. And I've got, what the hell is this flex here? Exposed cores coming off this. Oh, that's nice. It's going to the light up there. I've just spotted. This place is a bit of a disaster zone, isn't it? I'm going to have to put in some remedials here. But I'm going to open up that wall up there and find out what that nail was hit, because that'll be interesting. I've just started opening it up, and you can see we're straight through the brain pan there. It's capping in the wall, and that nail's gone right through it. So I'm going to have to open up that capping and see what lies beneath. Ugh, I'll probably have to open it in 3 places as well, because there are 3 clips there. So let's take a look. Okay, here we are after wrenching out a section of wall here and getting rid of the capping. We can see that that was a hell of a shot, wasn't it? Someone's managed to get that nail right through the centre of that single core there. Look at this doorbell cable running in amongst the mains voltage wiring. They wouldn't build them like that anymore. And obviously the nail from the clip has then shorted out this. Well, this is a neutral core actually. Shorted it out against the metal capping here, which has continuity to earth, which explains the RCD trip. Although I'm not quite sure why it explains why there's a fault current when everything is off. I'm going to have to think about that. Anyway, I've got to open up this wall in 2 other places now and see if there are any more impact damage, and then I'm going to have to crimp that back together so we've got continuity on it again, and so it's insulated. Get some heat shrink around it or something. We all crimp back together. Let's put this heat shrink over it. Get the old gas torch on it to start shrinking that down. I might have to do this 1 or 2 more times depending on what I find elsewhere in the wall, whether any of those other nails hit it or not. Hopefully we'll have a board we can re-energise soon without the risk of that fault current, fault to earth, tripping it off. I have to put the camera down, so it's very awkward to do one-handed. Good news for me and my client is that I don't have to open the wall in those other two locations, because I think that's the only site of the fault. If I IR this penetrated neutral as it was on this lighting circuit, IR it to earth at 500 volts, my trusty Metral tells me that it's now clear of any fault to earth. Previously, of course, I was getting a bad IR on it, and the whole point of today's exercise was to find where that bad IR was coming from. It took quite a while, I must admit, to find that there was a P-clip up there that had penetrated it. Not the most obvious thing to spot. They've had some building work done here lately, and it looks like someone's clipped the cable up and caught that. And it's caused intermittent tripping troubles. Okay, so that circuit appears to be okay, and I have already had a go to make sure that it's functional, and it is. So it's passing its test, it's functional. There's no more earth leakage going on there with the RCD powered. Incidentally, I'm interested in anybody's take on why there was an earth leakage current there with only that RCD switched on. If there was no other circuits on and no power flowing in this installation, and it was just a penetrated neutral to earth on the side of this RCD, where was that 20 to 30 milliamps coming from? Answers in the comments if you can think of it at time. I wonder if it's, I don't know. I've got a theory as to what it might be, but I won't say it on video in case it's bloody stupid and I make myself look like more of a prat than I already do. Okay, so that was an interesting one, I thought. Saturday afternoon job, a nail through the cable, and now I've just got to put it all back together, make good the hole I've made up there, and I can go home and have a beer. So cheers all. Just a quick aside before I go, I'm going to use my trusty brother label printer there to knock up some new labels for this thing, so that we've got some meaningful labels actually relating to the circuits on there. And of course there's this bit of copper here, this 100 amp bit of copper, which I really can't leave in place. I'm going to have to do something about it, because now that I've seen it, the onus is on me to do something about it, even though it wasn't me who created this problem. Tell you what, let's do something naughty and pop this open here, seeing as the seal has been removed already by the previous installer. And we'll just see how practical it is to, I don't know if you can see that, that bottom screw is actually broken. The installer there has over tightened it and fractured the screw head. So even if I could isolate it, I can't do anything about that. I'm going to have to call DNO out because I can't undo that screw. The screw head's broken. Brilliant. And just notice there's no seals on the fuse either. So our previous Intrepid installer, it looks like, was a bit naughty and has been pissing around with things he shouldn't have been. It's a bit annoying really, because this is network equipment and we electricians aren't supposed to touch it. But this, the tails here going into the board, that's not network equipment, that's the consumer side, and I should have a means to be able to isolate it without having to call out the bloody DNA to either pull the fuse or to fit an isolator. And I have had my knuckles wrapped before for pulling fuses by NIC. So, you know, you can get in trouble for it. But it's ridiculous, because we should be able to isolate it. And why isn't there an isolator built into these things? My old dumb meter had a built-in isolator, so I could shut off the power to my own house. And now they've replaced it with a smart meter, which incidentally is shit, because it isn't smart at all. And it's got no isolator built in. Why don't they build them into the bloody meters, so that when we electricians need to come out and isolate the consumer side, we can do so. Obviously it's a bit of a money spinner for them to go around installing isolators and attending call-outs, I suppose, but because if I call out Western Power now or someone, or Haste, they ain't going to fix this for free, because it's damage to their equipment by unqualified or unauthorised persons, I should say. Now, the guy who fitted this board, whose label I covered up, he might get in trouble for it, but probably not. No one seems to get in trouble for anything really. So yeah, that's interesting. That I'm going to have to. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have to just inform the homeowner, I think, because I can't physically fix it, and they're not here at the moment, so I can't authorise charges by the DNO on their behalf. So all I can do really is make them aware that this is a danger that needs sorting immediately, and there may be charges involved. But yeah, that's a shit situation. But it's all down to the fact that the guy who fitted this board was a knobhead, and you know, if you employ knobheads, that's what you get. But they didn't know he was a knobhead because he's got an 8-bit number. So you know, how are you supposed to protect yourself against that if someone's actually accredited but their quality of workmanship is shit?